Well, hello there. Before we begin, let's say thanks. Some new thanks, actually. Of course, we have Inspect All Pest Services. InspectAllServices.com, one of our title sponsors for Podcast and Pours 3, October 12th. Tannery Row, Buford, Georgia. Get your tickets now. TheBaileyShow.com. Providing the highest quality termite, pest, and wildlife control. Also, taking care of your insulation, pressure washing, gutter maintenance, and other home services in Metro Atlanta and the surrounding areas. That would be InspectAllServices.com. Dr. David Markwell and Ridgeline Counseling. If you are in Georgia, take advantage of the 10 therapists he has in-house there. 3 locations, one across from Sprayberry High School, Sandy Plains, and East Cobb. Marietta near the Square, and McKaysville just outside of Blue Ridge. But he does virtual sessions. So set up that appointment with Dr. David Markwell, markwelltherapy.com or ridgelinecounseling@gmail.com. If you are listening in Alabama, Colorado, Florida, Georgia, Indiana, Kentucky, North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Texas, Utah, and or Virginia, FBC Insurance. Perfect for new homeowners. Like us. That's what we did. We went with FBC Insurance. Or if you're just looking to reshop those current insurance policies that you have, which you should do, by the way. Everybody should do that. Give them a call, 888-308-1841, or you can email info@fbcinsuranceservices.com. Whether it's for your house, flood, auto, motorcycle, boat, recreational vehicle, personal policy, or you just need a friend. fbcinsuranceservices.com. Get a quote online. The Mad Dog, Manny Aurora, based out of Georgia, but litigates all over the United States. The Mad Dog, always a guest on this show, so if you have legal questions, you can get those to me via thebaileyshow.com. But if you want to see him one-on-one, theauroralawfirm.com. Criminal defense, white-collar crime, DUI, drug offenses, appeals, and more. Let's welcome our newest sponsor. That would be Alternate Power Solutions. Is a family-owned and operated Generac.
You got it.
The generator is called Generac.
Which is way cool.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about getting, actually.
Yeah.
Generac generator dealer. They founded Alternate Power Solutions in 2012, offering sales, service, installation, and repair of automatic home standby and portable generators. And every customer gets an upgraded warranty, free monitoring with a service contract, which is awesome.
Woo!
Yeah. Offering flexible financing, semi-annual and annual service contracts for existing installations and warranty repair. Keeping generators, transfer switches, and service parts in stock and open to the public. We're the public. Hello, public. A+ rating with the BB&B, and you pay nothing until the job is complete, and you are a happy customer. So get a free estimate right now on their website, poweringgeorgia.com, or you can call 770-853-7571. And if you'd like to save $500, use the discount code Bailey, B as in boy, AILEY, off your entire installation. Also a sponsor of Podcast and Pours 3. Last but not least, you're looking for a guy to sell or buy a house in Florida or Georgia? It'd be that guy right there, my wife, RaeJae.
I'm that guy.
404-797-4600, or you can email her, IamRachelGuy@gmail.com. IamRachelGuy@gmail.com. She's the best in the business. And if you'd like to sponsor this show, please reach out to me, TheBaileyShow.com. Let's have a conversation, yeah? All right, let's begin.
Go ahead and leave a comment about how you deal with your children leaving home while I recover.
Honey, I raised the kids.
Our kids leaving the nest is never easy. So in order to cope, Jason and Rachel have decided to share the journey of their kids, Caleb and Ariel, or Bees as most know her. Follow the story in this podcast.
Honey, I raised the kids.
All right, there it is, episode 21 of the Honey, I Raised the Kids podcast. Thanks for being here. My name's Jason Bailey. Right there is my lovely wife, Rachel.
Hey, I'm here.
Better known as RaeJae.
That's us.
Did you hear that? New sponsor, Alternate Power Solutions.
I want them to alternate power solution us.
Isn't that crazy? Like, so Douglas, who owns the company,
Yeah.
he reaches out to me, and I don't think that I talked about us getting a generator on any of the shows. I think that was just you and I talking about it.
It was just us talking about it, but like you need that in Florida with hurricanes during hurricane season.
Right.
Oh, real important.
So this is what he does. I mean, he'll sell you one for a great price. You get to save $500 if you use the discount code Bailey, and he's been in business for, since 2012 for a very long time. And
then I don't have to go run around the house and look for candles.
And he's been a listener for many, many years. So very, very cool. We appreciate you. Alternate Power Solutions, poweringgeorgia.com, poweringgeorgia.com. All right. So this podcast, for those not in the know, is about us becoming empty nesters as we are now into, I believe, our third week.
However many dumb weeks it is, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I lost count.
We're kind of I think we're 3 weeks strong.
Oh no, 2 weeks.
Has it only been 2?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
2 weeks. So
yeah, long enough that we took bees to school, had a week, then went to Maryland.
Yeah. And she's doing her rush thing right now, which will be a conversation for a later date as we navigate the sorority life waters, which is not as easy as I thought it was going to be.
Oh no, all of the moms say it's hell week.
It is.
Yeah,
it doesn't sound fun.
It's not for any of them.
It should be fun.
It's traumatic for all of the girls. It's a very intense week.
Yeah, and I know it sounds silly for those that don't get it or that have never been a part of that life, but for those that have or have daughters that like fraternities, I think are totally different. At least when I joined my fraternity in the 90s, it was like me and my boy Hill. We walked around and we knew a lot of the people already from Sarasota.
Just go and hang out.
And it was like, hey, you want a beer? Cool. Yeah, sure. It's like, yeah, like I didn't give a shit one way or the other.
It's way different for the boys than it is for the girls. The girls is very intense and lots of rules.
Didn't give a damn what I wore. Didn't give a damn what I said. Mm-hmm. I wasn't trying to impress anybody. I mean, probably I should have been, but I wasn't. And yeah.
Probably why they wanted you.
Yeah, and it was just like, a couple of them were like, hey, you want to join? I was like, oh, yeah, let me think about it, and then we'll see. Yeah. And then got back to them and I was like, okay, cool, let's do this.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's really, really different for the girls and so intense.
Totally different world. Different world. So that'll be a conversation for another day because we do not have a conclusion on all the ups and downs that are taking place right now.
It's not time yet.
So this episode will be about our trip
to
grandma's, in which you'll hear more about. Again, it's always funny because there are things that I'll bring up here on this episode or this podcast, and then I'll bring up again on the BS throughout the week. And for those that don't subscribe, we hope that you do subscribe.
So you can tell stories to the fellas because I'm going to keep you straight. Well, and tell you the real story.
It's just a different conversation. It's really fascinating to me. We'll talk about one thing.
Yep.
I'll talk about the same thing with Chuck and Brandon, and it'll be a totally different conversation.
Oh, yeah, because they're like, oh, yeah, fellas.
Yeah, that's what they do. Oh, yeah, fellas.
Yeah, fellas. Fella time.
Oh, yeah, fellas.
And you tell your stories, and they feed off of your stories. But I know the truth. It's fine.
So
we're going to find out the truth.
So we go up to Maryland, and we won't get all of the Maryland trip in this podcast episode because it's not as long as the BS, but a lot of things happened. The quick rundown itinerary.
So intense. It was a lot.
Yeah, we were going to Maryland. The main reason we were going to Maryland is Rach's childhood friend Casey was getting married to this really cool dude, Ian.
Yep.
Yeah. And they had this beautiful wedding in Salisbury, Maryland.
She got married in Delmar.
Delmar. But it was in a barn, but it wasn't really a barn, but they called it a barn. And it was just a really nice wedding venue.
It was beautiful.
Great food, great people. Everything was absolutely perfect. The bride was stunning. You were stunning.
Thanks, babe.
Everybody was stunning. It wasn't as hot as I thought it was going to be, even though the wedding was outside. I'm wearing a suit. I got kicked out of my seat because I was too far up in the chair lines.
Yeah, you weren't allowed to sit in the family seats.
Met some really interesting, great people. So it was a really
from where I grew up.
Yeah, from where you grew up. And I didn't expect that, to be honest with you, because the way that you talk about you growing up, it sounds horrible.
So there's two different phases. So these people are the people that I like, fantastic human beings. These are the ones that I've known since I was 5. These are the ones that I grew up with through elementary school. Now, once we went into middle school and high school, my mother split us. So Delmar it's called Delmar because it's Delaware and Maryland. It's split down the middle.
Oh, that makes sense.
On one side of the road is Delaware. On the other side of the road is Maryland. I lived 2 streets over into the Maryland side of Delmar. So all of these girls and these people that I know went to Delmar High School because they were on the Delaware side of Delmar. And I went to Wycomico Middle and Wycomico High School. Why? I don't know, because my mother wanted me to sit on the bus for an hour to get to school instead of going 3 streets over and going to Delmar. But
these people were nice. And every story
amazing, yeah.
that you tell me about, whether it's Kayla's father or
high school was different.
These people's parents are like, it sounds like hell.
Yeah, so high school was different and a different group of people. These people are from elementary school and Girl Scouts and growing up like real wholesome, down home country, even though it's in Maryland. Like, these are good people.
I was expecting a scrap.
No.
I thought I was going to have to regulate.
Nah.
I really did.
I mean, Caleb's 23 now.
I thought I was going to have to regulate something.
If his dad can't get over his bullshit by this point, it's not my problem.
Well, I'm not talking about just him. I just talking about, I thought I was walking into, the hood or something.
Nah.
So anyway, so we wake up and we get up at like 3:30 in the morning. Our flight leaves at 7. It's an hour now from where we live to the airport here in Orlando. So we get there, we get on our flight. We land. We've got all this other stuff going on with our other super special project. Southwest, who was the lift of the sky. They're not quite Uber. So the Wi-Fi didn't work, so I couldn't get on my email. It was just one thing after another. And so finally we land. We get our rental car. We get upgraded on the rental car, which was nice.
Way nice.
And our first stop was supposed to be to visit my grandmother's gravesite.
Yep.
And then it was going to be to visit my siblings who I'd never met before from my biological father. Mm-hmm. Again, more on all of this throughout the week on the BS, like in detail. And then we were going to see your family member, Alyssa, perform.
Yep.
She's a really talented musician, singer.
My cousin's a rock star.
Cousin.
Yeah, she's a rock star.
And we ended up in Delaware, which I did not see coming.
Surprise! You didn't know we were going to Dewey Beach.
Yeah, it was not on my bingo card.
Which is near Rehoboth.
So I'm just driving, and I see signs Delaware. I'm like, oh, I'm in Delaware. Cool. And then, the next day is the rehearsal dinner, and then it's the wedding, and then we have a day of like, a couple hours before we get on the plane, which then we ended up just out of nowhere going to the house that I grew up in and running into the owners outside of the house, and they invited us in. Again, more on all this throughout the week. I want to.
You're giving a huge this is the rundown. That's what happened.
Yeah, I mean that's like that all happened in like 3 days, 4 days.
It was a lot.
But I want to focus on because this podcast is about us becoming empty nesters.
Yeah.
And we stayed at Grandma's house.
We stayed at Grandma's house.
Now this is Rachel's grandmother, obviously.
Yep. My dad's mom.
Her dad's mother.
Yep.
And I thought it was, I just look at everything that happened in 4 days, 3 days, 4 days, whatever. My grandmother's gone.
Yep.
And we went to visit her at the gravesite.
We did.
An amazing miracle happened.
Graham
at the
takes
gravesite.
care of you. She loves you.
Which, again, I'll explain later this week on the BS.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing story. Whether you believe it or not, it's up to you. And then we visit your grandmother, who's very reminiscent of my grandmother. She reminds me a lot of my grandmother.
She's literally the cutest thing on the planet.
Absolutely adorable. And I look at us.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going, okay, we just entered into the empty nester world.
Yeah.
And although Henry, stop snoring.
Henry, you're so loud.
Henry,
Henry, go wake up.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Dad.
So I look at like your grandmother, for example, and I mean, she's obviously been an empty nester for a very, very long time.
She has.
And I wanted to ask her about that, and I forgot.
Oh, you should have.
I wanted to ask her.
She's in a whole different world of empty nester right now, too, because Pop has been gone for 4 years now.
Yeah, so her husband passed away 4 years ago. I was lucky enough to meet him right before he passed. And, like, that was, it made me sad, obviously, because we're sad that Bees and Caleb are gone from the house.
Yeah.
Caleb doesn't visit us very often at all.
Yeah.
He hasn't even been over yet.
No.
And Bees is off at college, and we're doing our own thing, and it's okay right now. I mean, it hurts, you know, they're not here, but it's okay. It's not the end of the world. But I couldn't imagine. Well, I can't imagine. I can just say I couldn't. I can't imagine being grandmother's age, you know, getting into your 70s and 80s.
She's 84.
And the next level of empty nesting is not only barely seeing your kids. I mean, because
they all have lives.
They have lives and kids, and they might be grandparents, you know, at that time. But then losing, you know, your soulmate, your right-hand man, your wingman, your Iceman.
Yep.
And every day waking up, and, you know, right now with Bees gone, the routines that we would go through every day, the sounds that we would hear are just not there. That hurts. That sucks.
It does.
But now times that by 100.
Yeah.
Because like there's a good reason why she's gone, right? It's a good thing.
To college, right?
Yeah, it's inevitable.
Right.
Not that death is not inevitable, but you know, when you get to that point, there's no, like with Bees, we could drive up there today if we wanted to. We can call her. We can FaceTime her.
I talk to her every day.
We can do all those things.
Yeah.
When somebody's gone, and, you know, I never thought of an empty nester as that as well. That's the ultimate empty nest.
Yeah, there's a couple phases of this whole empty nesting situation.
Right.
That is, I mean, I feel like it continues to get intense. And I'm not really sure. Like, I feel like Bees going to college is the worst thing I've ever had to deal with in my life. But, I mean, I'm still also only 40. And I would probably feel the same way Grandma feels about Pop when, like, if something were to happen to you. Like, she wasn't watching, and I watch the little things that she does, and she's so cute in her little routines and everything that she's doing, and everything's done a certain way. But I was coming back down the hallway and getting ready to walk into the living room, but she had already walked into the living room and was walking into the kitchen. And when you walk past the end of the living room and you're going into the kitchen is where my grandfather's chair was. And that's where he always is. And if he's taking a nap, he's there. That was his chair. And she just tapped it on the arm and said, "Miss you," and walked right on by. And she had no idea I was watching her, but it was literally, I'm going to cry. It was so cute and just the sweetest thing on the face of the planet. And she misses him every day. My
grandmother used to sit in a chair and stare out the window. This big high back chair, and stare out the window and talk to my Aunt June. And she would, and she talked to a lot of people, and you know, most of the people in her life, including her children, were dead. Is that kind of the same way that I talk to the dogs? It's exactly the same way. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. I get it. And she just sat there, and I would walk in sometimes, and you know, as a kid, I'm like, "Grandma, who are you talking to?" She was like, "Oh, just talking to, you know, your Aunt June," and those things. So like your grandmother, you know, talking to Pop is just natural. I think you have to. Yeah. You know, and then so I'm going, there's different levels to this empty nester thing that I never, you know, I almost feel guilty like launching the podcast, and you know, it's, you know, I always put the category, you know, when I post these things on YouTube or on Facebook, is it entertainment? Is it lifestyle? Is this? I always put comedy because we always try to have fun and make jokes and laugh and this and this and that. And I felt guilty because this empty nester thing is actually really serious. You know, the joke is, there's a lot of emotion that goes into this, right? Like the joke is, you know, haha, we're young. We're going to have the great, we're still got our whole lives ahead of us. Our daughter's off at college. Let's tell people about how we feel and the experience of going through this, especially for people that want to know what it's going to be like and how hard or how easy it is. And then I just never, drink for being stupid. I just never thought when I came up with the idea for this podcast that the empty nester idea is bigger than just not having kids in the house. It's when you get to a certain age, like your grandmother right now, and you lose your soulmate and you are legit in your house at 70, 80, 90 years old, empty nester.
Yeah.
And I feel guilty.
That's the ultimate empty nester. So there's phases to this. It's got legs.
It's got layers.
Yeah, it's like an onion.
It's like an onion. You just kind of peel it back. I just didn't realize that when that hit me, I'd feel guilty.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, like different phases of the world where Aunt Teresa was there. She's my my aunt and uncle that lived in Washington State. And I have 3 cousins who, crazy. When we get to Alyssa's, who also is an adult, we get to the event and to watch her. And I walk up to the table, and all of my cousins are sitting there. And mind you, all of these children, I say children, I have wiped all of their butts. Babies, that's what I remember. Tiny little babies in diapers, and I've changed all of them. Like, these are adult human beings that are drinking alcohol sitting next to me. It's so weird.
Yeah.
And Aunt Teresa's youngest, Colin, is 6 months older than Caleb. And Aunt Janine, who also was there later, who's my dad's sister, her youngest is also Caleb's age. So we all 3 had the boys at the same time. Now, Colin walking up to the table, it was the craziest feeling and just like surreal because he looks like my uncle. And my uncle passed from a similar heart problem that Dad just had his heart attack and all from years back. And it was so creepy to go and just walk up, and I had to double take because he legit could be his twin human being.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not how I remember him, as he's little, bright blonde hair, and didn't look just like my uncle. But now as an adult, he's his twin. And like sitting next to him eating my food and doing like I can't look at you while I'm eating my food. You literally look like Uncle Kevin.
Mm. We stayed at Grandma's house.
We did.
And I got in trouble.
Twice?
Yeah, twice.
Yeah, you got in trouble a lot at Grandma's house.
Grandma's got a lot of rules.
You got to follow the rules in Grandma's house.
And we get there, and it was so hot.
Hey, listen.
80 degrees inside Grandma's house.
Grandma's on blood thinners, and she doesn't like it cold. And you know what? She's living in that house by herself. She don't have to have it cold.
So I don't think twice about it.
No.
And I'm like, well, where's the thermostat? So I go to this first knobby thing, which was the house fan.
That's the house fan, yeah.
Finally find the thermostat. Now, Grandma's house is, it's OG.
It's original. Yep.
Yeah.
OG.
Big furniture, a lot of wallpaper, nothing techie.
Nope.
It's awesome, right?
It wasn't the little knobby guys.
So it's the old thermostat, the dials.
Yeah.
The bubble dials.
Yeah, little bubble dial.
And I turn it down.
I can't believe it. No, you are giving this so much. When he's looking for the thermostat, I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you looking? What are you doing? Why are you looking for the thermostat? And he's like, I'm going to just find the thermostat. And as soon as you touched it, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, she felt it. She wasn't even there. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew.
I turned it down maybe 4 degrees. That's it.
And you knew what I did? What did I do? Well, while you turned it down.
You're a tattletale.
Nope. I took a picture of you touching the thermostat.
Snitches get stitches.
Yep, I'm getting some stitches because you ain't going to blame that on me.
So we go to bed, wake up the next day.
Grandma comes right immediately to my door. And she's like, 'cause I don't know, she heard me get up or whatever.
Which one of you turned down the thermostat?
No, she said, you touched my thermostat.
To you.
Yeah.
And you
I said,
sold me out.
Grandma, I did not touch your thermostat. Jason did.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's love right there. I get sold out.
Yeah.
Sold out.
I'm not getting in trouble for that.
So that's the first thing. The second thing was Grandma doesn't lock her doors. I mean, that's crazy. And I lock everything.
But she told you why she didn't lock her doors, right?
Oh, because she's going to go around and put Jesus' blood on it.
No, Pop put the blood of Jesus on the door frames, and she's good.
Yeah. And now, look, that's beautiful. And that's great that he did that. But I don't know if everyone subscribes to those rules.
Well, you know what? I think she's good with the blood of Jesus on those doors.
So far, so good.
So far, so good. We're cruising.
That's what I should do. I should open up my own security system called the Blood of Jesus.
Yeah.
And just have someone that's ordained.
Go and touch the door frames. That's it.
No installation, no monitoring, no subscription, no membership. Just someone of the cloth walk around your house, touch the doors, and say the blood of Jesus is on each and every one of them.
Yeah.
And have you sign something that says if it doesn't work, you can't sue.
You can't sue. But you know what? If anything were to ever happen, if anybody were, she's in a good area. She's fine. And I mean, Pop protector with blood of Jesus. But if anything were to ever happen, like somebody were to break in her house and, she were to go, it's fine. It's God's will.
Yeah, it's God's will, she said. Yeah.
Yep.
The blood of
That's how
Jesus.
it's supposed to be.
The blood of Jesus security. Wow, that sounds good.
I think that's a great idea.
BOJ, blood of Jesus. And then you could just BJ security.
The blood of Jesus will save you.
That's right. So she didn't get home till 2:30 in the morning.
Oh, she was partying. Grandma was partying.
We were wiped.
Yeah.
So we come back, fall asleep, and she's locked out.
I cannot believe. She said, she handed me her keys, and she said, don't lock me out. It's real important. These are my keys. Don't lock me out. And I made sure that the doors were not locked, and I tried so hard to stay up till Grandma got home.
It didn't happen.
She was partying.
She was partying hard.
We had been up since 4 o'clock in the morning, traveling all day, all the things. I couldn't do it. Couldn't make it.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's fine because I didn't lock Grandma out, and blood of Jesus, Pop's protecting us. We're good. I'll fall asleep with the doors unlocked. Cruising. Golden.
Yeah.
No, what did you do?
No, I didn't do any of those things.
What did you do?
Well, I told her that you did it.
No, you locked the door.
Oh, of course I lied. I just said that. I locked the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you told me you told her that I did it.
Because I remembered you did it.
I did nothing of the sort.
Well, you were with me when I did it.
I know the rules. No, I didn't see you do that.
You told me to lock the door.
No, I did not.
You told
Nope.
the story that Grandma needs to know.
No, Grandma doesn't need to know that story. She needs to know the truth.
Rachel changed the thermostat and Rachel locked the doors.
Oh, and you were telling this whole story in front of Aunt Reese and the kids and Aunt Janine and everybody about how I touched the thermostat and what happened. I have photo proof of you touching the thermostat.
And I had to explain to Grandma what Photoshop is and how you can doctor up different pictures.
You're in trouble.
And explain it to Grandma. So anyway, we're staying with Grandma. There's a bunch of rules. No smashing. We had to sleep in separate beds.
Grandma's house is a no smash house.
Yeah, no smash house at Grandma's.
It was kind of nice.
That was great.
It was so it gave me some time to miss you, to just really miss you.
Yeah, I figured if we spent some time apart, which we needed, I just would miss you so much that I can't, I couldn't wait to get back in bed with you.
It really just makes me feel like I love you more.
Yeah. So thank you, Grandma.
Thanks, Grandma. And I had all this space for activities to roll around and sleep however I want without you in my way.
I'd sneak out of the house since all the doors were open late at night. Go to Club Del Mar and do my thing with the local townspeople.
I don't think you want to do that.
So, this trip, and we're sitting there, and obviously I have this thing for grandmothers. Not like that, but you know what I mean? Because how much I loved my grandmother. And I'm just watching, and observing and enjoying immensely talking with her and going like, what are we bitching about? I mean, I know we're upset that Bees is not here. Caleb's gone. We're empty nesters. And we obviously know deep down inside that we've got so much, like this is the second act of our lives.
Right.
We're getting ready to have our super secret special podcast. There's big things getting ready to happen with the podcast for the BS that will be announced in the next couple of weeks. So like everything is working out the way we wanted it to work out.
Sure.
Including Bees going to college.
Yep.
That's not when you start to go, what's going on? It's when you get to grandma's age.
Yeah.
And
you just want to know what's going on. Hey, guys.
And your kids are distant off to wherever, never see you. And then you have the unfortunate news that your soulmate is about to pass. And you're stuck in that situation. And that is the ultimate empty nesting. So I guess, I don't know, the moral of this story in this episode to relate to you listening is that, we're still continue to talk about not having kids and what they're going through and how we're reacting and stuff like that, because this podcast is actually gaining a lot of momentum in just 21 episodes, which is cool. I mean, I've gone through this, so I see how this works and it's cool and we appreciate it. But it really hit me that the ultimate empty nester, and if you want to if you can find somebody like a grandma, that is in that's the ultimate. You want to talk about stories?
So many awesome stories
and must listen podcast material. Yeah. If you can find somebody in that position and surround and do a podcast surrounding them and that's Henry. Stop,
Henry. You're so noisy.
I mean,
wake up.
Stop.
Wake up.
You can, that's actually must listen to stuff because that's the ultimate empty nester.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like stage 3, stage 4 empty nester. I mean, there's definitely different stages to this process.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, there's, and I again, drink for being stupid. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I had no idea that there were different stages.
Yeah. Well, I mean, me neither until like we're actually talking it out, but your kids go and you leave, and then your kids have kids, and then their kids have kids, and you're like going through this process of the different phases and like your world with your soulmate. And I mean, I would miss you. I mean, I might murder you, but I'd miss you after the fact. I mean, like kill you while slowly and sweetly taking care of you, but like still while killing you.
Well, okay, so then you break down the empty nester when you lose somebody.
Yeah.
And like if I were to go today, right, you still have your whole life ahead of you. Yeah. So you could move on with your life, get over me, find somebody else, blah, blah, blah.
But I'm not doing that.
I know you say that, but you would.
I know that.
All right. But you it happens to people all the time. And you still have, another 40, 50 years of your life. So you're not going to spend it alone, and I would be a distant memory, and our memories would be a distant memory. But when you get to grandma's age at 80, you're not restarting your life. I mean, you're set in your ways. The world has already passed you by, which is another story, which is sad in itself. You're stuck. You're stuck in your life that you have, and I couldn't imagine trying to make the best out of that life. You have to. In order, I mean, you just can't give up. But when because she's got health issues right now too.
Yeah.
And she said, she had a heart attack, right?
Yeah.
And she said half her heart doesn't work. And I'm like, oh my God. I mean, she just lost her husband. The irony, the poetic behind all this is like, of course, half your heart doesn't work. It just died.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, like you couldn't write a sadder script.
Nope.
So anyway.
Half of her heart went away with Pop.
Half of her heart went away with Pop. And that's a thing. You'll never be able to get that back. But you're right, as far as the different levels of empty nesting, is that, you've got the empty nesting, again, the death empty nester, so, the kid empty nester is one thing, but the death empty nester is a totally different thing with your significant other.
Yeah.
And, you almost want it to be like, you almost want your significant other to die early so you can have another life.
We'll just get you out of the way now, and then Grandma and I are going to go live our best lives, and we're going to travel.
I know.
I'll make her. We'll go.
This portion of this podcast might come back and haunt either me or Rachel at some point in time.
Probably.
But I mean, if you were
I'll
to
regret it.
if you were to look at it in a realistic way, that second level of empty nesting, when you lose your soulmate, you kind of want them to go early so you can start again. I mean, you've already done that with me, but you could go for a third round.
Listen, no, I can't. That is what people call a black widow. I cannot. I am on time number 2. If you pass away, I'm done.
Yeah, but
it comes into like being a real problem.
But that's not accepted anymore. It's no longer a black widow. They don't. You just.
Oh, so what am I called now?
Well, you can't.
What would I be?
You just would be a widow, or you'd say you identify as a spider.
No, because that's not the same thing. Because I'm a widow already because I lost my first husband. Now, if I lost my second husband, well, am I a double widow?
I think you're called a murderer after that.
I know that's where the questions come in. I can't go for time number 3. I'm done. When I tell you I'm done, I'm done.
I think you're called a regular at the insurance company.
They're going to come and get me if something happens to you.
I'm so glad we can laugh about my death.
It's good. Yeah, it feels good to laugh about you dying.
Feels good about me not being here.
I love you, though.
Feels good to laugh about me not being here anymore.
Yeah, it's fine.
Very sad. Very sad.
Love you so much.
That sounds like it.
Yeah.
All right.
Good. I'll keep you. It's good.
Well,
Grandma
anyway.
says that you're ornery like Pop.
Yeah, Grandma loves me, by the way.
She does.
Grandma.
I'm allowed to keep you because you make me laugh every day.
And I took her leaves to the dumpster.
You did. Oh my gosh.
Strong move.
That was a real strong move.
Strong move.
You saved the day. Taking leaves and then breaking sticks.
Yeah, breaking sticks.
And you pulled a crabgrass.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hooked it up.
It was strong.
Yeah.
Put the fan back in the shower. I did good.
You crushed.
All right.
You had to do something to redeem yourself after getting in trouble so many times.
The tickets for Podcast and Pours, yes, they've gone up in price. We told you that, but they're still extremely affordable at $30. You can get those at thebaileyshow.com. Podcast and Pours 3 will take place in Beaufort, Georgia on October 12th. October 12th at Tannery Row. All right. Start time 6 o'clock. Live music from Distinct Grace. We'll have a live podcast out there. $1,000 in cash and prizes for a karaoke contest. Drinks, food, special guest. All presented by Inspect All Pest Services and Alternate Power Solutions. So thank you to both Inspect All Pest Services and Alternate Power Solutions. Again, tickets and more information, thebaileyshow.com. Podcast and Pours 4 announcement will be sooner than later as well, which is pretty cool. Again, if you want to be a sponsor of all the shows, because once you sign on, you get all the shows. You get the Honey podcast, you get the BS, the subscribe, the unsubscribe. You get everything, right? You also get the full videos on YouTube, like this episode and Wednesday's Freebay episode of the BS is on our YouTube channel at The Bailey Show. You're a part of all of that, all right, for a minimal price, right, to help the cause. So reach out to me, thebaileyshow.com. Please, we'd love to have you on board. At least have a conversation to see if it could help you out. All right, Rach, you got anything before we get out?
You gonna listen to you tell stories?
Listen to me tell stories.
I got the real truth.
Listen to me tell stories. All right, look, as always, we appreciate the support. Enjoy the episodes throughout the week. We'll talk to you soon. Yeah, bye.
I realize not everyone feels this way, and if you are okay with this stage of your life, honestly, more power to you.
Thanks for listening. Get more information and episodes on thebaileyshow.com.
Honey, I raised the kids.
Subscribe at thebaileyshow.com. Yeah, baby.